Hi, I'm Mrs. Edwards, and this video is about the basics of grammar, specifically parts of speech. Now, if you inwardly just groaned, yes, grammar does make your brain work harder. But who's afraid of hard work? Not me. I like to think of grammar like detective work. The detective, he must use knowledge and evidence to find who did the crime. In grammar, you must use knowledge and sentence meaning to determine in what part of speech the word is being used. So let's get started with some basic information about parts of speech. This video only shows the basics. There will be more things that you will learn that are not covered in this video. Let's start with subjects and predicates. The subject of a sentence is what the whole sentence is about. Repeat this after me. The subject is what the whole sentence is about. Say it with me. The subject is what the whole sentence is about. I mean, it's the reason you have a sentence. Why is the sentence even written? That's the subject. Then we have the predicate. It's the second part. It's the rest of the sentence. It contains the verb and tells something about the subject. Repeat this after me. The predicate contains the verb and tells something about the subject. Say it with me. The predicate contains the verb and tells something about the subject. So let me show you now. Let's take a simple sentence. The brown dog wagged its tail at me. Ask yourself, what is this whole sentence about? The sentence is all about the brown dog. If the sentence is about the brown dog, then that is the complete subject. Now, tell me something about the brown dog. The brown dog wagged its tail at me. That part is the predicate. The complete predicate is wagged its tail at me. We put a vertical line between the subject and predicate to separate them and to see with our own eyes how they are separated. Now, in this complete subject, we have a simple subject. Usually it's just one word. It's the main part of the complete subject, about what the whole sentence is about. In this complete subject, can you find that one word? It's dog. We're going to place our simple subject into something called a diagram. You can see the simple subject goes to the left of the vertical line. In the second part of our sentence, wagged its tail at me, we need to find the simple predicate, also known as the verb. Sometimes it is just one word, and sometimes it has helpers that I'll explain later. So in this sentence, what did the dog do? He wagged. We place the simple predicate, also known as the verb, to the right of the vertical line in the diagram. So let's practice this part with a new sentence. John is helping his mother with the dishes. Before I show you, you think to yourself, where will we separate the subject and the predicate? We're going to separate them here between John and is helping. Now, think what the simple subject is. John. And what's the simple predicate or verb? Is helping. Here we have two verbs working together. So now we've talked about subjects and predicates, so let's dig deeper. I have the fabulous 8 parts of speech. This little lesson about these parts of speech are just the basics. For some of these parts, they can be used in different places in your sentence based on the different meanings or a different purpose. However, if you know the basics, it is easier to build on that. Number 1. A noun is a word that names a person, place, thing, or idea. Say that with me. A noun is a word that names a person, place, thing, or idea. A noun is a word that names a person, place, thing, or idea. Now, a noun is a word that can be used in different places in a sentence. You can see them stacked up here on your video. But we're going to just practice the basics now. So what is a noun? A noun is a word that names a person, place, thing, or idea. Look at this sentence. The happy monkey swings from tree to tree. Using your detective skills, look at each word. Look at what each word means in the sentence. can you see any words that name a person, place, thing, or idea? We have monkey, and we have tree, and there's another tree. Here's another sentence though. Look at each word. Look at what each word means in the sentence and determine if any of these name a person, place, thing, or idea. The tree house is so high that the boys must use a ladder to climb up. What are the nouns? The nouns are house, boys, and ladder. Notice I did not say tree. I kind of tricked you with using the word tree again, but it is used in a different way. Remember that I said you have to look at the meaning of each word, determine its parts of speech. In this sentence, tree is not what you need a ladder for exactly. It is for the house. Well, which house? Not the yellow one, not the one down the street, but the tree house. That's called an adjective, and we'll explain that later. So remember to go and look at the word meanings to determine if they name a person, place, thing, or idea. So let's start with diagramming. Now, I cannot tell you exactly where all the nouns go in diagram because each noun has a different job in a different place. It can be the subject or the direct object or the indirect object, a predicate nominative, or an object of preposition. So that's where it gets tricky. I can't tell you exactly where they each go, but they all go on a horizontal line. So look at these examples of some short sentences with the nouns I put in red. Notice the noun is always on a horizontal line. The first sentence, dogs bark. You see dogs is the subject noun of this sentence and it's on the horizontal line in front or to the left of the vertical line. The next sentence is Susie and I play at the park. Susie is the subject noun. Park is also a noun. It's used in the place of an object of preposition. Prepositions will be discussed later as well. The I looks like a noun, but it's called a pronoun, and we'll talk about that next too. And the last sentence, Sally gave Mom the present. Sally is the subject noun. Mom is a noun used as an indirect object, and present is a noun used as a direct object. This all may feel a little overwhelming, but the basic part of this section is, what is a noun? It's a word that names a person, place, thing, or idea. Right. And nouns can take on many jobs in a sentence. Number 2, a pronoun. A pronoun gets confusing sometimes because it acts like a noun. It can be the subject, direct object, and all of those same things a noun can be. It actually does everything that a noun can do. So what's different? Well, let's look at the word pronoun. Pro usually means forward or for. So here it means for a noun. So the official definition we say is a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. It is probably easier to show you in this story. My neighbor owns a dog, 2 horses, and 3 cats. My neighbor feeds the dog, 2 horses, and 3 cats each morning at 6 o'clock. The dog, 2 horses, and 3 cats are quiet while the dog, 2 horses, and 3 cats are eating. Wow, that was a mouthful. We can use pronouns to shorten it and not be so redundant. So let's try this one. My neighbor owns a dog, 2 horses, and 3 cats. She feeds them each morning at 6 o'clock. They are quiet while they are eating. So let's repeat the definition of a pronoun. A pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. Say it with me. A pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. One more time. A pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. Now there are tons of pronouns, different types that your teacher will teach you later. Since pronouns take the place of nouns, they are in the same places that nouns can be in diagramming. Let's use those same sentences from before, but now I use pronouns instead of nouns. Notice they are all on a horizontal line. So, they bark. She and I play at the park, and she gave her it. Number 3, a verb. The basic definition of a verb is a word that expresses action or state of being. Repeat that back to me. A verb is a word that expresses action or state of being. Say it with me again. A verb is a word that expresses action or state of being. There are 2 main kinds of verbs, action and linking. An action verb shows action, but not always movement. A linking verb links the subject with a word in the predicate. There is one more group of verbs called helping verbs. Alone, they are not a main verb. What these verbs do, they help, which is why they're called helping verbs, because they help. Now, usually an action verb is easy to spot. It usually shows action or movement, like running and jumping and singing and dancing. But it doesn't always show movement, like think or have something, praying in your mind. These words are action verbs, but they do not show movement. But there are tons of action verbs. I cannot give you a list to memorize them. There are a bunch. The second main verb is a linking verb. A linking verb links the subject to a word in the predicate. The girl was Sally. Sally and the girl are the same thing. The subject, girl, is linked to the word Sally in the predicate. Some linking verbs have another name you probably heard of. State of being verbs. You know, am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. These are state of being verbs because they state what you are. Not Florida, not your state Florida, but your condition. Girl was Sally. I am hungry. Yeah, I'm really hungry though. What time is lunch? Oh, sorry. But these are also linking verbs because I and hungry are the same thing. This cake tastes delicious. A cake doesn't actually eat delicious. The cake is delicious. So the word taste in this sentence is a linking verb. I mentioned helping verbs. These help out the main verb. They do not stand alone when they are helping. They work with the main verb to make a verb phrase, action or linking. He was fishing in the pond. Was fishing is the verb phrase that together they are an action verb. Or, she should be happy now. Should be is a verb phrase that together links the subject with the predicate without showing action. I have a list of verbs for you to memorize. It will help you out a lot. It will help you with thinking about linking and helping verbs. Now, this list also states the state of being verbs, helping verbs, and linking verbs. Your teacher will help you to understand each of them better, but again, I am just showing you the basics. Memorize this list. Let me show you how I chant it. Listen first. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Have, has, had, do, does, did, shall, will, should, would, may, might, must, can, could. Taste, feel, smell, sound, look, appear, become, seem, grow, remain, stay. Now, I probably just went through the list fast for you, but your teacher can show you how to slow it down and to memorize that list, because it will help you a lot. Now, I know the nouns and the pronouns and the verbs, they took a long time to explain, but our last 5 are faster to teach you. They can still be tricky, but with practice, you'll understand more. Remember that it takes detective work sometimes to look at the meaning of a word in a sentence to determine its part of speech or job in the sentence. The main verb in a sentence goes on a horizontal line to the right of the vertical line like this when we diagram. Number 4, an adjective. An adjective is a word that describes or modifies a noun or pronoun. Adjectives answer these questions about a noun or pronoun. Which one? How many? What kind? Whose? So read the screen with me, including the definition and all the questions. An adjective is a word that describes or modifies a noun or pronoun. It tells which one, how many, what kind, or whose. So let's go back to the part of a sentence that we used earlier. The brown dog wagged its tail. Can you find words in this sentence that are adjectives? They tell which one, how many, what kind, or whose. And so those words are brown and its. All adjectives on a diagram go on a diagonal line under the word it describes. So looking at this diagram, you see that all the adjectives go under the word it describes on a diagonal line. Let's read the screen again. What is an adjective? An adjective is a word that describes or modifies a noun or pronoun. It tells which one, how many, what kind, or whose. Here we are, number 5, adverbs. Now, adverbs are similar to adjectives in that they describe or modify something, but they do not describe or modify a noun or pronoun. They describe a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. Adverbs also answer different questions. They tell when, where, how often, or to what extent. Let's read the screen together. An adverb describes or modifies a verb, adjective, or another adverb. They answer the questions when, where, how often, or to what extent. One more time, read it with me. An adverb describes or modifies a verb, adjective, or another adverb. They answer these questions: when, where, how often, or to what extent. So let's look at this sentence and see how we diagrammed these adverbs. Notice how the adverbs are diagrammed just like adjectives in that they go on a diagonal line coming off of the word it describes or modifies. Gary was playing his guitar very loudly yesterday. Loudly is telling how he was playing, while very is telling to what extent he was loud. And yesterday tells us when he was playing. So you can see on the diagram how they each come off of the word that they describe or modify. Now here's a little clue about adverbs. A lot of adverbs end in ly, and if you see an ly word, you need to see it could be an adverb. But there are some words that are ly words that are not adverbs. Like the word lily. Lily is an ly word. It's a flower, so therefore it's a noun because it names a thing. So not every ly word is an adverb, and not every adverb is an ly word. However, it could help you out a little bit with that clue. Number 6, prepositions. So prepositions show the relationship between a noun or pronoun and some other word or element in the rest of the sentence. They are always in a prepositional phrase, which is a preposition with its noun or pronoun. Some examples are to, from, of, in. Let me show you with this sentence. The horse was in the barn. Now this shows in relation to the barn where the horse was. It was in. See on the diagram how it works. As a whole phrase, in the barn is telling where, so we put it under the verb. Notice where the preposition is, where the noun is, and then our noun has an adjective to describe it. And so it is under the noun. Your teacher will show you how many prepositions there really are, and maybe even have you memorize a song to help. We are almost done. We have 2 more to go. Number 7, conjunctions. A conjunction is a word that joins words, phrases, or clauses. Read it with me. A conjunction is a word that joins words, phrases, or clauses. Here's an example. The children swam in the lake and had a race. Would you like a banana or an apple? The word and the word or are conjunctions because they join together parts of the sentence. And last but not least is number 8, interjections. Interjection is a word that shows emotion. It is not grammatically connected to the sentence. Wow, that slide was fun. Boy, am I tired. And they're all diagrams all alone at the top of the diagram, as you see here on the slide. That's it. We are done with the fabulous 8. Learn these basic parts of the parts of speech, and it will definitely help you. Remember to use your detective skills to look at the word meanings and how the words are used in the sentence. And then you've got it. You're going to do great.